Georgia's at the White House for the signing of the U.S. China Phase 1 trade deal. And specifically, what is this going to do for your state in Iowa?
Well, of course, Iowa is really proud of our ag traditions, and this Phase 1 China deal focuses heavily on the purchase of agricultural goods by China. So number one, that is a big boon for Iowa farmers. But then you talk about enforcement mechanisms and you get into intellectual property theft, things of that nature. We will continue to build on that as we move into Phase 2. But we're starting with ag products, $40 to $50 billion worth of purchases. That's a good deal.
I was just in Iowa last night in Des Moines, covering the Democratic presidential debate, and I was struck by just how the talk in that spin room and the talk amongst farmers in that area, it's all about farming. It's all about agriculture. $40, $50 billion. What specifically does that mean for your state?
Well, that means we will now be able to get our goods into China again. We have had a great trade relationship with the country of China. We are very, very good, closely related countries and state. But what we have seen, though, is the bad actions by China on the part of our farmers, where they will order our commodities, they'll cancel those contracts, and then they'll renegotiate for a lower contract price. Bad behavior by the Chinese. Now we have a way to push back.
So are you confident that there are enough enforcement mechanisms in place in this Phase 1 deal to make sure they're held accountable?
I am confident in Phase 1. I believe the Chinese know what our markers are now. We've laid those down. They know where they need to improve. We know where we need to improve. And all we can do at this point now is continue to build on that and take it even further with a Phase 2.
You know, when I was preparing for this interview and I was looking at my reporter notebook, I made a note of President Trump really praising you and your colleague, Senator Chuck Grassley, and really saying that every time he spoke to both of you, you mentioned ethanol and you mentioned the impact that ethanol has in Iowa. And how is this going to impact the ethanol industry?
Absolutely. We are very hopeful that then through the purchases, that would be considered a purchase if they want to engage in the ethanol market. We are hopeful that they will be able to do that, and it'll be an acceptable product going to China. So we are really excited, whether it's our ag growers, those in the pork industry, those in cattle, corn, and soybeans. Hopefully now ethanol as well.
Economics has really been the only track for this particular portion of the U.S. China phase deal. National security has been left in a separate lane. Issues pertaining to 5G, to Huawei, as well as other intellectual property, national security issues, where there seems to be nonpartisan consensus here in the halls of Congress. What is the driving question mark in Phase 2 in terms of the timetable and subject material for that?
Well, again, I think you have hit on all of those areas, but I think that we do have to start working towards that. I think it does get more complicated as we move into Phase 2. When we talk about technology and the issues we have with technology, we are working as the United States with a number of other allied nations and pushing back against the Chinese and perhaps funny business in technology.
USMCA about to be over the finish line, too.
Yes, USMCA to be voted on Thursday in the Senate,
tomorrow.
And we expect overwhelming support. Let's get it to the president.
So for Iowa, a state that President Trump carried by 10 percentage points against Hillary Clinton in 2016, there were some tensions. We've reported on them. You and I have somewhat talked about it between the president and the ethanol industry. What does today mean and tomorrow mean, these trade agreements mean, for the president's relationship with some key stakeholders in Iowa?
Again, it's a big boon for those farmers. Not only is he working on their commodities and making sure that we are expanding the world that we can push them out to, but then also going further with technology, say in a Phase 2 agreement, the things that farmers rely on for precision agriculture and otherwise. So this is exciting for our farmers, our manufacturers, our small businessmen. I look forward to seeing where it takes us.
All right.